Hello Canada and people of Earth. I am recording this video for you today because I want to share something to help you protect your money. And please know that some of the actions that I'm actually recommending in this video are things that I'm actively doing myself. If you do work in that profession and you do know better tactics than the ones that I'm suggesting, please, I welcome you making any suggestions or recommendations so that we can further expand the knowledge and open up a conversation around this. Because one thing that I see coming, because this is a part of some of the agenda that I've been referring to, is actually what's known as an economic collapse. Now, it's not a real economic collapse, it's an artificial one. And so in that, I have also found research from other countries around the world where governmental systems actually use similar tactics that we're seeing in Canada right now. And one of them is actually freezing people's accounts and denying them access from money. And so as a way to protect ourselves, I figured it was important that I make this video and share what I'm doing even for myself. So with that being said, there's, I guess in a way, a few different areas that I would like to touch on. First and foremost is the banks that we use. That one's really important because in Canada there's 5 with a sixth. I don't remember the exact one for the sixth, but with the 5 big banks of Canada, it's TD, Royal Bank, BMO, Bank of Montreal, CIBC, and Scotia. And so with these 5 banks, they're the ones who kind of dominate that marketplace for banking. And the reason why we need to be wary of them is all of them are a part of this agenda. And so knowing that they are not here for the good of the people means that we also should not support them. Just like how I mentioned it in other videos, where we spend our money is actually what determines the outcome or how quickly everything will come down. Now, again, not for us it coming down, but for those who actually intend to cause harm to the people. And so if, like myself, I don't shop or use any of these big box stores, any of these big banks, or any corporation that cooperates with what's occurring presently. And in doing that, let's find alternative solutions to that. If you know of any good secure banks, myself, I use one, but I don't feel comfortable publicly sharing it. But there are like credit unions or other options out there that are readily available. And if you know of a good one, please recommend it to people. I think it's important that we get this dialogue rolling. And then on the second note of that, if you do have any bank accounts, make sure that it's a joint account, or at least you have a couple of different joint accounts or one joint account. Say with myself and my family, we actually all shared joint accounts that we can all access and maneuver our money around, just to make sure that nothing can get frozen. There's a very good reason for this, and in having joint accounts, say if I'm doing something where I'm standing for people's freedoms and the government, say, targets me for something, then I protect not only myself but also my family because they're not involved in that activity. And so they're separate, and we're not implicit in something in particular together. And in doing that, it means that in their eyes, I'm the only guilty party. I'm not guilty of anything. I'm standing for my freedom and I'm protecting my property. And so in that, by dividing myself in that way, and even my activity, and having a joint account with someone who's not actively participating in what's occurring in the world, that adds further protection, because essentially they would be committing a crime furthermore, and they don't want to bring greater hate to them at this point in time. I mean, that's what I'm essentially banking on. And there's also other legal ramifications should a bank or a government try and seize a joint account. And it has implications for them just as much as it does for us. And then the last one is actually if you have any bank accounts that have interest rates on them. If you can, in particular savings or checkings accounts, all my accounts, there is 0 interest. Absolutely none. I will not have any interest, and there's a very good reason why. Why I don't have interest is because what is not spoken about, but is actually in the fine text of your banking contract, if you will, they stipulate that when you get interest, it can be both positive, i.e. paying you, or negative, and it can change without notice. And what that means is if it goes negative, they can put it in such a manner that they can start taking money from your accounts. This is why I have called my bank and I have said no interest. And they have removed all interest from every single bank account, and especially the ones that are joint accounts. So it's like me saying, you don't have access to my accounts, and you can't really access my accounts because it's also a joint account as well. So I'm just adding barriers, if you will, to really block them. And also one of the things that I did is when calling them, I stipulated, I said, you have no right to touch my property in that account, and if you do, you will be held accountable because that is my property. And I do this through a series of questions, and I'm going to try and find a document because there was a document that helped me go through this process. So if I find it in time, I will share it with this video. If I haven't found it, then please join me in the Common Law Essentials group and I'll share it there for you. But with that being said, let's go over it again. Stay away from those big banks. They're a part of this agenda. They're not out for the people. 2, get joint accounts. And if you can get joint accounts, try and divide your activity in such a manner that no one man or woman is implicated in whatever the government is claiming it to be a crime at this moment. And then 3, don't have any interest on any accounts that you're going to be placing your money in. For myself in particular, I actually have a whole division of different bank accounts, so none of my money is kept into one account. I've actually divided it up, and what it does is it means that there's always areas. So say if I want to take money from one bank account but then be able to use it on my cards or even take it out for cash, then I have to do an online transaction, transfer the money first, and then go to the bank. It means more time and effort, but it also is essentially a protection tactic. And so hopefully this helps protect you with your money. One thing that I haven't touched on, but maybe a good opportunity to talk about, is taking out cash. While there has been a push to go online for currency, i.e. cryptocurrency, stock exchanges, this is more of a side note for anyone that really wants more information. If you do use cryptocurrency, please know that is not real tangible money. Even if it's based off of something that's tangible like gold or other real items that exist in our world, be aware that technically, under its terminology, cryptocurrency is not real. It is just a line of codes. And so, I mean, I have my perspective on the matter. I'm only sharing an awareness, if you will, just so that you can protect yourself. I'm not saying don't invest in cryptocurrency or do invest in cryptocurrency. I just want you to be aware that that is not a real, tangible form of money. And in that, there is a risk in actually investing your money in that. The second one is actually stock market. So the stock market in particular is actually based off of our trust accounts as men and women. So what occurred when we were born into this world, likely our parents have registered our birth, and as a result of that, we get birth certificates. Now, birth has nothing to do with living men and women. It is everything to do with a corporation, and from that moment forward, your identity, if you will, gets converted into a corporate entity and is under the care of the government. There is also a trust account whereby a value is attached to you as a man or a woman, and it follows you through your life, through your government ID. And they actually conduct exchanges through that trust account. So if you are borrowing money from your bank, if you will, oh, that's a really great question too to answer, because I know some people are going to ask, what do I do with my debt? If you have any debt, do not pay it off. The reason why is, as I'm explaining here with the trust accounts, if you borrow money from a bank, you're actually borrowing it from your trust account. They don't tell you this, but you are actually taking money from the very value or the very account, the trust account, that was created for you when you were born and also when your birth was registered. That money technically is your own. However, the government is claiming ownership of it because of the transfer of ownership and birth. If you look at the definition of it, there's two different forms, but I mean, they're essentially the same. So BERTH is the birth, as in a ship waiting to be used or something that's docked and waiting for service. And so that's what they're treating us as, is we're a vessel that is not in service presently, and they're acting on the benefit of us. Benefit in quotations, because it's not really the benefit. So when you borrow money from a bank, that's what they're doing. They're taking money from your trust account, placing it into their accounts, and then they're lending it to you with interest. That is fraud. That's what's been occurring to everyone across Canada, unless they have gone through a very lengthy and time-consuming process of claiming back their trusts, standing in their sovereignty, and coming back to the land of the living, as these secret societies call it. So be aware, you do not have to pay your debt back. It is your money. You don't have to pay for it. They are wanting to steal from you by convincing you that you're borrowing money from the bank. It is not the bank's money in the first place. It was yours to begin with. So if you do have debt, mortgage, anything like that, the thing is, with mortgages, it's a little bit trickier, but the beauty is, by common law or even natural law, the fact that you are living in that house, you reside, you are located at, and it's your abode, it is your property. And so they cannot take it away from you. And so if they attempt to, stand your ground. You have every right to protect that property because it's yours. Your name was on it. You were actually given the money, all the money, when you purchased it, even if it's through a mortgage. You got all of that money, and then they're lending it out to you in a mortgage, which is a death grip, by the way. So I know for some of you it may be a bit of a stretch not paying your debt back, but that is one of the most powerful ways that we can actually take our power back. And on a bit of another note is, if you don't pay your debt back and you go through all these different actions and you are already are facing some challenges, please contact me in Common Law Essentials, or reach out to any individuals who are helping people. Now, be mindful, there is misinformation out there around common law and how to help people. So please, I'm always happy to help you. So ask me any questions. I will guide you in the best manner possible. And if I can't help you, I know people who I can rely on or gain information from. So with that being said, I hope that this helps you. I hope that it protects you. And if you are knowledgeable in this area and you have other ideas or suggestions, let's get this dialogue started. I don't expect me to have all the answers. I want us to know how we can protect each other, because this is not the first time it's happened, and it's not going to be the last. That's at least what I'm seeing. So let's keep our money where it is, in our possession. It is our property, and let's protect it. Thank you.